Hey everybody, good to be here. My name is Mark Vokac. I'm from the Czech Republic, and how I met John is that I was exchange student, and John and his wife they hosted me for a year. I live in their home 3 years ago, and so I started working with John. He showed me how the business what it means to be a business owner, and I loved it, and that's why I started my own marketing company which now I switch into doing calls and doing sales, and that's what we'll talk about today. And so let me put it here. Gina, I need to just set something up here. So can you please give me one more minute and ask someone else about the
Yeah,
4th of
absolutely.
July? I'll be right back.
Yes. Awesome. And yeah, while waiting for Mark, Jenny, can you tell us how's your holiday going?
It was great. We live in a gated community, so we didn't have to go anywhere for the fireworks. And we did see the Washington, D.C. fireworks, and we're veteran as well, my husband, and they were fantastic. Although they didn't show them till, from what I hear, like 11:30 at night. But I guess they had some really old veterans on there that they wanted to honor. So, I mean, that was kind of nice for them.
Awesome. That
How
is
about
so.
you? How was your fourth?
Oh, still, I mean, since I am here in the Philippines and we don't celebrate like July 4th or something like that. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that.
yeah. No, it's okay. I just celebrated it with my family since it's I mean I also spent like a holiday. Yeah, I just celebrated it with my family. Nothing fancy in here. So yeah. Is there anyone who would like to share something? Okay, oh yeah. Mark is back. Hey you there.
Okay, perfect. I was just waiting for someone if someone will say something, if they want
Yep.
to share. If not, that's totally fine. So we get right into it. I'm super excited about today.
I'm sure everyone
And so we'll
does.
be talking about, so I can, yeah, you'll let you know. So we'll be talking about doing calls, setting up appointments, and then converting these appointments into paying customers. Because being on the phone is important activity how to grow any business. Any business in the world needs to be able to talk with people, right? Have a conversations, and phone uh, is the tool that we use for that. So I would start with this. So raise your hand here if you like to do phone calls. I want to see all the hands, people that like, enjoy, and love to do phone calls. Oh, I see one hand. Okay, that's great. I'm surprised, honestly.
In certain circumstances.
Okay, great. So exactly,
Yeah,
in some circumstances. Okay, that's
sometimes I do. Once I get calling, it's trying to get me motivated to get on the phone.
oh nice. There you go. There you go. It is important, and when you have success with doing phone calls, then you obviously will do a lot of them. But most of the people they don't like to do phone calls because it's about numbers game. Sometimes we get rejected. That hurts our ego, takes our time, and we don't like that. And so that's how I started my own business. Was like when I realized, hey, I hate to do phone calls myself. Nobody likes to do phone calls, but there is opportunity there waiting because business happens when you have a conversation with other human being. And especially in today's AI world, all of us got at least one call from AI bot, yes, randomly spamming us and leaving voicemails and stuff. We don't like that. We want normal people, regular human beings to have conversation with us. And so the value here is I'm sure that most of you here, you have existing database of people. In your career, you met with hundreds of people, you talked to hundreds of people. Some of they still remember you, your name, your brand. They are sitting there in your database, but you don't have time, honestly, or you don't want to spend energy to contacting them again and meeting with them, even though you know they are your potential customers. Or a great example is a lot of people do business networking events. They attend all sorts of business events, which for most of us is great source of new leads and new customers. But I'm sure when we go there, we collect tens of business cards every week. Then you have hundreds, then you have these piles of business cards just sitting on your desk. You maybe call but few people, but there's just still a lot that you never even reach out once. Or maybe you send them an email, you dial them once, but that's really it. There's no more follow-up behind. And the follow-up is where the money is created. And so I want to encourage you all, you have to be on the phone if you want to generate if you want to generate new leads and new customers today. It's the easiest way how to do it. It's not about sending an email because a lot of people don't even read their email box anymore. They don't check it. It's not about sending a text because that can again just disappear or we can read it and forget. It's about actually reaching out and having the conversation, which takes time. And I'm sure most of you are busy, and that's why I want to show you today how to make it as effective as possible. And so the whole process, how we are doing, okay, because this is John's show, I will talk about John because me and my company, we are doing calls for John. And our process is very simple. It's not about cold calling anybody, trying to, hard close them on a product or a service, none of that. The only reason why you should pick up the phone and call somebody is to set up the appointment where you will talk about your service, your products, about them, etc. It's not about selling anything. It's not about talking about them, about you, none of that. The phone call should be very short. It should be no longer than 3 minutes. 2 minutes is a sweet spot. And the only reason we want to talk to them is to say, hey, it's been a while since we had a conversation. I met you 2 weeks ago at the networking event. I would like to talk to you on the Zoom for 10 to 15 minutes next week. Would you be open to it? And that's the script that we use to set 20. Last week, it was 20 appointments for John and his clients. And we are doing this every single week with people from John's database or our client's database. And it's working very well. John told me that I can share this. So John made over $100,000 from one networking event, only thanks to us doing calls for him because he's busy, right? He doesn't have time to call these people. But what we did, he collected all these business cards in one event. He gave it to us. So we sent them email first with something of value, and Gene helped us with that. We gave them an ebook that they can look into. We gave them value first, and then we follow up with a phone call. And 90% didn't even pick up the phone, obviously. But we talked to a few people, we booked some appointments. And the most important thing we did is that we called them the following day. We talked to people that, we didn't talk to, but what we do is that it's about doing dials. It's about having conversation. It's not about leaving voicemails. What we do, we're trying to talk to people. So that's why we pick up the phone and we just dial, dial, and dial. We don't leave voicemails or anything. We leave voicemails when it's fifth or sixth time, but we actually were trying to talk to people because that's where you get results. It's not about feeling good, being productive. It's about having the actual results. So we are trying to talk to people, and some of them say, I'm not interested. I don't want to talk to John. And what we do, we don't say, oh no, you have to talk to John because blah blah blah. No, you say, okay, that's fine. Can I put you on our follow-up list and call you in a month or two? Because I'm sure that your business will change and you might need John's help or he will need yours. And if they say no, okay, that's fine. Have a great day. Thank you for your time. That's it. But if they are interested and say, hey, I would love to talk to John, I would like to exchange some referrals, then we book the appointment on John's calendar and we ask them qualifying questions to make sure that John is not wasting his time with a person that is not even interested, in what John's services. And so we ask 3 questions to make sure they are qualified. And every business have different questions, but I will give you examples. So it can be, how many customers do you have right now? To find out, hey, do they have enough customers? Or it can be, how many employees do you have? And they will tell you most likely. It's better to ask how many employees do you have than, how much revenue, what's the revenue that you have right now? How much money are you making? Nobody, wants to share with you on that, especially on the phone. No one will tell you the truth. It's like, okay, whatever. They'll just give you a random number. No, you want to ask, how many employees do you have? Who is your ideal customer? That's a good one. That's how we start, because we care about these people and we want to, we want them to show, hey, we are talking to you. It's not about this is personalized. So we want to ask them, hey, who is your ideal customer? So we can look in our database to see if we can introduce you to somebody. This is a great 2 sentences or great line how to actually set these appointments. And it's true, because we will actually go and look in our database after talking to them, after having the appointment, because we want to make sure that they are nice people, that they can actually help, that they are professionals. But after that, we actually look in our database and send some referrals their way, because that's how we want to support each business owner, and they will do the same thing for us. And this is the process. Now, the struggle we'll get into is, again, okay, it's great, we booked the appointment, they agreed, hey, I wanna do it. It will be in 2 weeks. We book it, we hang up the phone, and now our job is to make sure they will actually show up. So it's not that it's great we got a win, we got first yes, they agreed to meet with us, but this is not where the all hard work ends. Unfortunately, I would love to say yes, but that's not how it realistically is. Because every single day between our appointment, the percentage of people that will actually show up is lowering every single day between they committed on the phone and the day that they will actually have a meeting with you. And so during this time, you need to make sure they will not forget about you and they are still committed. And so again, what we do is, because I want to talk from our experience, what works is we send them email. It's usually 5 days before the actual meeting, and saying just hey, we'll have this meeting. So you remind them, you tell them why they will have this meeting. So meaning, hey, we want to look in our database to see if there is anybody we can introduce you to, and vice versa. And you want to ask them maybe 3 more qualifying questions to get prepared for the meeting. So let's say, hey, what's your website, or what's your LinkedIn profile? Is there something more I need to know about your current situation? We ask, what's your biggest business problem that you have? Please tell me more about it. It can be any question like this. And again, if they don't respond, then we'll give them a call. Or if they respond, we'll still give them a call to make sure they will show up. So it's usually 3 days before the meeting, we give them a call and leave a voicemail. Just saying, hey, I'm excited to see you. Or when we're doing it on someone's behalf is, John here is looking forward to meeting with you in 3 days. This time, please give me a call, but when you get a chance. And then that's really it. Then we give them, again, reminder 24 hours before, and that's it. There's no more we can do. We cannot control other people. And so if you did all of this effort and they still didn't show up, that means they're not really interested talking to you. And you would probably most likely not do any business with them anyway. But you actually can, give high five yourself, because you did everything you could to actually make them interested and show up to the call.
But they
But the
could
great thing
also,
about it is if you actually, yeah, go for it.
no, go ahead.
No, please, I want you to,
Yeah, but they could
because you are
also
part of
write,
this process a lot. So I want people to
yeah.
know, because you are the one doing most of this back end work. I'm just the one doing the calls, or my team. So please.
Yeah, so actually, if the people are not interested, like you did everything, like you did a follow up, you call them, but there's still no show on the call, but do not disregard that specific contact, because in the next few months or next few weeks, they might change their mind. They could actually stumble upon any business problem, and they were like, oh my God, I need John right now, and say something like that. So it's important to keep that contact, because some people that I have, because I am part of Mark's team and I also make calls to those people, and some of them, like, we actually touch base with them like every month, or if possible like every week or every month, until they say yes. So, and if they do not say like remove me on your list, we do not remove those people, and we always make contact with them. And the one that I observed is that if people decline your offer right now, that doesn't mean they will decline in the next few weeks or next few months, because I've taken those calls, and there's still a lot of people like accepted the invitation, and at some point they become John's client. So you don't know what's sitting on your database.
Yes, thank you. That's really important. Exactly. Every contact should be put on a follow-up list and have a date when you will touch base with them again, because that's how you scale your business. And then, okay, so now I want to ask you, do you guys have any questions you would like to know, let's say about regarding script or the process or how this will work for your specific business? Just raise your hand, or you can other people blow up my phone. That's funny.
Yeah,
If not,
Rita
then
have
we'll,
a question.
So I am so excited to hear from you, Mark, and this is a perfect subject at the perfect time, because I still have, just like John does, those follow-ups from that Western North Carolina speed networking wild crazy day. And a couple people I have called them, and I have left messages. So I'm learning from you. Don't need to leave them messages until I actually make some kind of contact with them. And then I start to think, just like I think most business owners are like, well, maybe they're not interested. Maybe they're, oh, right. But
Mhm.
I got to not let that stinking thinking get in the way and just keep with my process. And my process is keep calling them, just like you said now. Just keep calling them. Don't need to leave voicemails, but keep them in my rotation. And I have them in a pipeline, so they pop right up that I need to call
Perfect.
them. So in that period of time, do you call them when you haven't made that good contact yet? Weekly or more than weekly, 2 or 3 times a week, or how often in that first initial stage after a few weeks after you met them? You're still calling them weekly, daily?
That's a great question. So we will use the example with networking event. So you want to make as many dials as possible within the first 2 weeks, because people still, clearly remember you. They talk to you, they have experience talking with you, meeting you in person. And so they're most likely to say yes to a conversation with you. But then with this specific, we do calls, let's say 3 times a week, every week. When it's like so in first 2 weeks, we are trying to call them every day if they don't respond. After a fifth touch, after fifth dial, we leave, voicemail, and after that time, we will do call probably twice a week, no more than that, because we don't want to be, pushy. We don't want to be spammy. And so within the first 2 weeks, we are trying to make as many dials as possible. And it's not like you're bothering these people. They're getting so many calls, and they also can think it's a scam, because we get, one-time call all the time from someone random. But if you actually put effort in place and you call them 3 times, that you dial their number 3 times a day, 1 week in a row, they'll be like, okay, this is important. And they will most likely at least, respond to you, or you leave a voicemail, they will call you back. That's what we want from them. But we don't want to be spammy or pushy. So after these 2 weeks, then we'll slow down a little bit. And then we send them email with, again, something of value, going from different angle. We call them twice a week, if possible. And then they're going in our follow-up stage when we call them, trying to call them once a week. But if you have a lot of contacts, then again, pay attention and try to, contact your people that are most likely to become your customers. So you have to prioritize who are you calling, because when you have more than 1,000, contacts, then you have to prioritize a lot. But the more dials you do within the first 2 weeks, it will pay off. After 2 weeks, you should slow down a little bit and call them twice a week. If so, send them another email. And then if it's more than a month, then you can dial once a month or once a week and send them
Once a week.
emails.
Thank you. And I have a follow-up question, if that's okay. I heard when you were talking
Please.
early on, I believe, and I know you mentioned the AI bots that can do the reach out phone, and you advise against that. Is that right?
Yes, because we are doing calls that are relationship driven. We understand how important it is to create this relationship, which robot can simply not do. And so when we want to leverage AI, is that there are systems that can do auto dialing for you. So you don't have to press, dial the number every single time manually. They will do it for you. But once you are connected to a person that will pick up the phone, answer your call, then you are the one having the conversation, not the
Yeah.
AI
I like
bot.
that, right? Let it automate the calls and then it's the live person. Yeah.
And then if you want to even more leverage it, then you can have the whole AI automation in the back end, which do email follow-ups for you automatically. It knows when you call that person because it will transcribe the call, put the notes in the CRM, set up a follow-up sequence. That's great. And that's, again, what our business is doing right now, and smart to do. So if you want to have this back-end automation, you should definitely, think about having it, because that's how you separate from most of the people.
Yeah, and that's really the only way to keep up with hundreds of leads that you have. Like you have 1,000 that you're calling right now. Using the automation backup system, that AI automation in the background is the only way to keep track, because your brain would explode if you tried.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And then
All
it's
right.
Jenny, sorry, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I want to again talk about more. I know that there are also good way how to get even more appointments is to reach out by text. If you don't want to talk to people specifically, you can have like AI bots that will do this for you, and they will have this conversation on your behalf. It works in some types of businesses for some type of business owners, but again, you need to make sure that it's actually, doing the right job and people are not offended, because we are still not there we are still not there with AI having these conversation with people over, it can be not over just the phone, but even email or text. And so be careful using it. It's great to leverage it, but be careful using it. If you don't want to hurt your reputation, be careful with AI bots. And then I see one raised hand. Castell, that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, I think you're muted, Crystal. Let's see if I could unmute them.
Sorry,
Okay,
it's
there you go.
Catherine. Catherine Stelfner. I'm a
Catherine?
CFP. A couple things. This kind of is a response to Rita in regards to AI calling. I had my mortgage broker's AI call me to check in and talk about the reduced rates. And at first, I thought it was a human, and then as the conversation kept going on, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm talking to a computer and this is ridiculous. And I was offended. I was just like, he can't even pick up the phone and give me a call. And I felt like it was spammy and like, I don't know, it was really kind of creepy. So I personally don't like that at all. But then, yeah,
Yes,
I,
thank you for
and
sharing.
then
That's
there
a
was
great
something else that
example.
popped
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I did the same thing when I call, but I missed the part you say call but don't leave a message, but I won't return anybody's call if they don't leave a message. If they don't have time to give me a message, tell me why they're calling, then I don't even bother. So, what was your reasoning behind not leaving a message?
Yeah, so the problem that we faced was that we were leaving voicemails every time, and it took so much time to just leave the voicemail and have one dial every time. And then after some time, we were getting less and less appointments set, and we got into less and less conversations. And then I told this to John because he's my business mentor, and I tell him like, hey, this is what's going on. We need to fix it somehow. And he told me that because we are leaving voicemails every time, it doesn't mean that people will respond. And so new strategy that we set, and it works perfectly, is that we do 4 dials per lead. So we do 4 dials without leaving a voicemail because it builds some curiosity, which helps. But exactly, there are people, and there's a lot of people that just simply don't, return your call and you don't leave a voicemail. And that's
Mhm.
why every fifth and sixth call, we always leave a voicemail, always. Exactly for people that are waiting for this voicemail to pop up. So first 4 dials without a voicemail, then fifth and sixth are with a voicemail. And then again, seventh, eighth, ninth is without voicemail, and then 10th is voicemail. And that's how it goes.
Okay. And do you throw in emails? Because I alternate. If I have multiple phone numbers, I'll try the cell phone, then I'll try the business, and then I'll try the email, then I'll go back to the business office. I'll kind of mix it up a little bit because I find some people like using one thing over the other. And in my world, I can't really text. They don't really like it in the financial world. But yeah, no, this is good stuff. Thank you. Sorry to take up time.
No, thank you. That was great. And exactly, if you have their email, you have multiple phone numbers, just try all of them and rotate. Make sure that you rotate because some people respond to one, on one phone, then they maybe have multiple phones, or they just only respond to you know, people that when they are working, so with their business phone number. You never know. And that's also another thing I wanted to talk about. This is still, it is a volume game. It is a numbers game. It's about how many dials you actually make because that's the only thing on this process that you can control yourself. We cannot control other people's decision. We don't know in what situation they're at in the moment we are, trying to call them. Maybe they're in a Zoom meeting. Maybe they have a, lunch with a client. Maybe their cat just died, or someone in their family died. It can happen. We never know in what situation they are at. So even though they're rude on the phone and they reject us on the first time, doesn't mean necessarily they will not be interested another time. And so same thing with doing these dials. You want to make sure you call the person in the morning, then you can call them at 1 p.m. and also you can call them at 4 p.m. the same day. I can tell you that they will maybe respond only at 4 p.m. because they simply were busy. They didn't check their phone, and when we were calling, they will respond and book the call with you. Or I had a person that they told me no, they don't want to meet. I called them literally a week after, and I asked the same thing, and they're like, yes, please. And then they thank me at the end of the phone call. They tell me, Mark, thank you for calling me again. I wasn't in a good mood the time you called me last time, but thank you for follow upping with me again. And they booked the call, and it was great example of how important it is to have this follow up and stick to the numbers. And when people say no to you, they reject you, they tell you they're not interested, it is hard and you will not get used to it. It takes hundreds and hundreds of dials and conversations to get used to rejection. And it's part of the process. But it's important to stick to we have the consistency. That's the word, consistency. Because if you would call just one day a week and did 100 dials, you will burn out so quickly if you're not professional. in doing these calls. It's important if you do 10 dials a day, which will take you, if you don't leave a voicemail, 10 dials will take you probably 5 minutes, not even that. And if you can do this every single day going forward, you will close much more business with this simple one change in your day, which takes 5 minutes. If you get in conversations, then it can be, 3-minute phone call, then 9 dials. So if you will do just one thing after today, is doing these 10 dials every single day, that will help you a lot. Yes, Rita, please.
So I've been listening to John. He's my business doctor, my mentor, and I'm in a mastermind with him. And he was telling me you got to make this, set the number of calls you're going to make that day. And the first day in 40 minutes, I made 18 calls because some people did answer the phone. And so I got to talk to people. And I was amazed. I didn't know I could make that many phone calls in a short period of time. Again, I didn't talk to that many people. But something I did want to say about the outbound or even inbound, if you're going to use an AI bot for either one of those, I recommend that my clients have the bot identify immediately. Hi, I'm Trixie. I'm Rita's AI assistant. I'll be happy to help you. A large percentage of people will go ahead is they say, "Oh, I know I'm working with a machine. I'm talking to a bot. That's fine. I'll take this as far as I'll take it," right? Or something. They're like, "Okay, I'm game." Whereas the same exact person, if they find out later that they were talking to a bot, will be absolutely furious. So just if you're going to use that, any system like that, just have it teach it to identify right away that it's an AI assistant or something like that. And so I feel like they're not forbidden, but what's forbidden is cloaking behind the look and feel of a real human and not identifying. So I feel like that's important for people to know because they're not completely taboo, in my opinion.
Yes, and especially I would use, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, my connection is not great today. But
Mhm.
I would definitely use AI phone assistant for inbound calls to my business if I'm not available. That's really valuable, and it's there's a lot of businesses already using it. And I think if you want to start with AI somehow handling calls for you, I would go with this. So let's say you will set up that when it's before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m., you will have this AI assistant on the phone, and anytime will someone call your business number after your work hours, after your business hours, then this AI assistant exactly will pick up the phone for you. And if you know how it works, how Rita said, how to create a script, then people will not get offended, number one. And it will also, the AI bot can help with at least, booking an appointment with them and with you. Or you can also help them, if you give them enough information to feed it, it can help people as well with support and stuff. And that's a big part of it. And then also how to, it's a little bit on the side, but if you are with the person on a 15-minute call, Zoom call preferably, because if you do in-person meetings, it's fine, but it is not scalable. It takes a lot of time. So think if you can do Zoom call, then do Zoom call. It's the best. And you can also record it. But you want to always, go face to face with people and talk with them. So Zoom calls are the best. But the chances that people will say yes to your offer on this call, especially when you met them, let's say, at the networking event, and then you schedule this appointment 10 to 15 minutes on Zoom with you, and then you're talking, the chances they will buy your core product, especially when it's more than $1,000, or they're not, it's the first time talking to you outside of that event, you want to offer them something that is easy to say yes to. You don't want to necessarily sell them or offer them if they have the need your core product, because they can, their guard can go on, and they will, like, all protective, that they don't want to buy something like impulse purchase. What's great